Greetings and welcome, viewers. Before starting today's program, my mom will be initiating the ninth episode of Side Talks with an important quote. Over to you, Mom.
Sai Ram, brother Vinayaka. I'm so
Sai
glad you are
Ram.
Sai Ram, Sai Ram. So glad and you're able to create some time for us. I know you are so busy with your like so many professions you have been doing, and thank you so much for creating time for Sai Karthik's Sai Talks.
No,
And
anytime and anything for Swami, yes.
yeah, so
Yeah.
kind of you, and it's so nice of you.
Mm, mm,
And today's quote, this like every time when I read the quote, it always we can correlate that guest speaker. Today also it happened so. Today's quote is Swami's quote for today. Children
mhm.
must grow. Children must grow up in the atmosphere of reverence, devotion, mutual service, and cooperation. Sri Sathya Sai Baba's quote.
Okay,
So
yeah,
so glad to.
nice.
I've read this. And so, Sai Karthik, you can go ahead and interview brother Vinayaka. Sai Ram.
Sai Ram.
Sairam.
Thank you,
Sai.
Lakshmi Garu.
You're so welcome, Auntie Sai Ram.
Yeah, Sai
Sairam.
Ram.
Thank you so much, Mom, for reading such a wonderful quote,
Of course.
which is in relevance to today's guest speaker.
Yes.
So I'll go ahead and start introducing the guest
Right,
speaker.
right. Sai Ram.
Sairam.
Mhm. Sai Ram.
So
Sai Ram.
thank you all for joining us on the ninth episode of Sci Talks. Today we have with us Mr. Vinaayaka Kalleetla, who is a educationalist, filmmaker, and social change maker who has spent his life blending education, values, and creative expression. An alumnus of the Hyderabad Public School Begumpet and also of the Sri Sathya Sai Institute of Higher Learning Prashanthi Nilayam, where he earned his MBA in marketing and advertising. He also trained in filmmaking at the Ramanaidu Film School and the New York Academy. After early years in advertising and marketing research, he founded Abhyasa International Residential Public School in 1996, where he introduced a strong focus on value education, social responsibility, and holistic development, earning the school consistent national and international recognition and awards, including from the United Nations. Alongside education, he has been actively involved in filmmaking through Abhyasa creating films centered on human values and spirituality, including his debut feature "Waiting in Wilderness," and authoring a screenplay on the life of Bhagavan Sri Sathya Sai Baba. Deeply committed to youth and community service, he continues to be widely recognized for his contributions to education, value-based education, and social impact. With that, I'd like to thank you, Mr. Vinayaka, for joining us today.
Thank you, Karthik. Thank you for hosting me. I feel privileged to be here. Yeah, over to you.
Thank you, Vinayaka. It's such a privilege to have you as the
Mm.
ninth, guest speaker for Sci Talks. So I'll be moving
Okay.
on to the first question for today. Could you
Mhm.
please share a few memorable experiences from your childhood that helped shape the person you are today, especially your time at Hyderabad Public School, and then your transition over to the Sri Sathya Sai Institute of Higher Learning?
Yeah. Um, Looking back at my childhood, I must say that it was something like I had three dimensions, not one. Like Swami says, you're not one person, but three persons, what you think you are, what others think you are. So when I reminisce at home, I was a very naughty child, and all my parents, my cousins said that I was the most naughtiest among our all my cousins of 10, 15 people. But back at school, if you ask any of my classmates, they would all say that I was an introvert and I would never speak harshly to anybody or even raise my voice. So that's how I had been known in public. But left to myself, if I reminisce the best memories of childhood that I have had, it was always something that I felt a longing for something inside. Maybe it's self-actualization, maybe it's some spiritual quest. Most of my childhood memories take me back to the dreams that I used to have in childhood. And from a very, very young age, I was attracted to Swami. Initially, my parents were not devotees, but my uncle, he was quite close to Swami those days in late 1960s and early 1970s. He was also in charge of the construction activity of the Anantapur College, which was getting built then in 1969, 70, those years. And we still have some of Swami's letters written then asking for very mundane things that he needs a concrete mixer, so on and so forth. So that was the uh, childhood reminiscences that I have. And since you talked about HPS, well, I think what struck me about HPS was its grandeur, the buildings, the palace-like edifices, and so on and so forth. And not but I mean, not not to forget that I rub shoulders with luminaries. Today you have Sathya, he was 1 year junior to me. You
Wow.
have Shantanu Narayan, Adobe CEO. He was 2 years senior to me. We were in the same house, Vijayanagar house. And Nagarjuna, the actor, was about 5, 6 years older to me. And well, you name them, I do remember them at school. The IPS officers, our former Chief Minister, Mr. Kiran Kumar Reddy, so on and so forth. So, why I'm mentioning all this is this place had some magic. It had the who's who of the city, the children of who's who of the city, let me say that. And it was very cosmopolitan. It's not that all the students came from a particular background. They were Telugu people, they were mostly North Indians, they were Muslims, they were Punjabis, they were so all different backgrounds, children, including they were some reservation candidates also. I mean, from some students from the lowest echelons of the society. So this proper mix, this proper beautiful interaction, I should say, laid the foundation for a grand dream. Whatever I wanted to achieve and still want to achieve, I have a lot more to achieve. But that foundation, the grandeur of that was probably inspired from HPS. That's what I would say. But
Wow.
one thing I missed there was that uh, I told you in school I was quite shy and introvert. So I was not very forthcoming and outcoming. Teachers viewed me as a very, you know, not so talented or, you know, guys who display their talents. They're supposed to be very extrovert. An actor is supposed to be very extrovert. A sports person is supposed to be extrovert. So, though I had a lot of interests and talents and all that, that somehow lay very dormant in the early years, and so that's one view that I mean, one probably grouse that I have that I was not recognized much in school, though I wanted to participate in plays and dramas and whatnot. But all that changed once I went to Parthi. It was uh, heaven for me in terms of you know freedom. You call it mental freedom, physical freedom, or spiritual freedom, whatever you call it. People recognized who I am, or even without approaching anybody, sir, I'm interested in this or I'm interested in that. People could would come and talk to you and say, what is your interest? What would you like to do? And so that's the kind of difference between Hyderabad Public School and my education, my stay at Prashanti Nilayam. So I would say that this is what actually made me best of the both worlds, I would say that. Because the school that I later started and Abhyasa International Residential School near Hyderabad, I call it a blend of Gurukul values and public school system. So that's the unique system that I have created thanks to both these institutions that have actually shaped me into what I am today. Initially, when I was in ninth grade or so, I was very attracted to going to Swami's education institution because I've seen my cousins go there before me, both at the Anantapur College and at the Prashantilayam campus. I saw the change, the transformation that has come in them in just a span of 6, 7 months. Like Swami used to say, from street dogs to street lights. That was an expression Swami used to use. So when I've seen such kind of a transformation in my cousins, I made it my life goal that I should be actually, if there's any place that I should be living or studying, my future is in Prashantilayam. And I used to write letters to Swami. And beautiful thing about living in Hyderabad is that Swami used to come to Hyderabad very frequently, even before Shivam and after Shivam also. And those days in the early 1970s, if I remember well, there used to be hardly 200, 300 people, maximum of 500, 600 people who used to assemble there. And Swami was so accessible in close quarters. So I remember in my ninth grade when I was getting inspired by, I wrote to Swami. Swami took the letter and I prayed. I wrote in the letter also, Swami, if you take my letter, that means you're going to grant me seat in your college after my 10th grade. So Swami came to me that day, took the letter, spoke to me, blessed me. So like this, and from that day, I started wearing white clothes. I stopped watching cinema. I stopped eating non-veg, even when I was in school.
Wow.
So I started being the student to become a student. And days passed by that I finished my 10th grade and applied to Sathya Sai Junior College in Prashantanilayam. And there were two other students from HPS, my classmates, who also applied there. So they got admission, whereas I did not get admission.
Mm.
So June was over, July was over, and I was sort of losing hope. And I was questioning Swami, Swami, you accepted my letter that day, and but now you are not giving me a seat. Because there's something very funny that happened. I got
Mm.
less marks in English in ICSE. Uh, and the reason I got less marks in English also is it's a long story. I don't know if I have time for all that.
No, please tell, please tell.
You know, when I say I was introvert and stuff like that, even those days, kids used to be so very innocent. I mean, I'm talking about myself. I don't know about others, but you know, whenever we had an exam in school, the teacher used to give a 4-page sheet. And once you finish the 4 pages, 4 sides, and the teacher used to give another sheet. But first time in my life, I'm writing a board exam, and none of my teachers spoke to me about it, nor did they train. Or see, nowadays, when I'm running a school, we conduct mock tests. We give the
Yes,
paper exactly as it appeared in the answer sheet, as it appears in the board exam. We give that for practice.
exactly.
We make them sit in the board examination hall and take pre-boards so that they get even the feel of sitting in that place and writing exams. You don't
Yeah.
suddenly go to a new place and everything looks very weird or everything looks very strange, and you take time for familiarizing stuff like that. But we didn't have all that. So first exam, English exam, the teacher, I mean, the invigilator gave me a 6 or 8 page sheet. So this little mind thought that, okay, I have to write all the answers of 2.5 hours in that 8 pages. So I just sort of, pushing everything in a small handwriting so that I answer everything in those 8 pages. So as I'm completing the paper, I'm seeing one by one others are taking extra sheets, additional sheets. That was, oh my God, additional sheets are available. I didn't know that. So that was a fiasco that my very first exam. Of course, I did all the other subjects well, but only in English I got 35 marks, just passed.
This
So
past,
this
yes.
was a hitch for getting admission into Prashanti Nilayam. And very clearly, the rules there said you have to get more than 50% in English and so on. And that was the reason why I was not getting admission into Prashanti Nilayam. So I almost lost hope. I went back and joined in HPS in 11th grade. I'd taken the commerce stream. June was over, July was over, August came in. I gave up hopes. And uh, I mean, let me again reveal the human side of mine. I was very angry with Swami. I started watching movies. I started maybe I developed a distaste for non-veg. I'm not sure whether I started doing other things also. But I became a rebel and I said, to hell with you. You're not going to give me a seat. I don't care for you. It was like that. And one fine day, my uncle, I told you he was close to Swami. It was in it was just the day before the Independence Day, uh, August 14th. I remember the date. And next day was August 15th. And then the next day was a Sunday. So there was a 3 day holidays or something. He said, come, let's go to Parthi and try. I said, okay, fine. I'll take a break. I'll go for a tour and just go for a tour and come. So I just packed two clothes and went to Parthi. And the next morning, went to the warden in the hostel. The warden, as soon as he saw my uncle, immediately he said, no seats are available. He knew probably what for we had come. There were a lot of people sitting there in that room, by the way. But he straight came to us and said, no seats available. Please don't even try, or I can't help you. Leave this place. Fine, I was happy. And then while going out of the gate, I told you my cousin was already studying there.
Yes.
So my cousin came out and said, he just asked you to come and try tomorrow morning, he said. So we were supposed to leave that evening and we stayed back. And next morning, after the bhajans and all that in the mandir, we went back to the hostel in the college and told sir, you wanted us to meet you. Ah, yeah, yes, yes, yes. Take your luggage and put it in the room. You can go and join, he said. So I
Oh,
was
wow.
zapped. I was shocked. I came with two sets of clothes, and he's saying, go and join the hostel and keep your luggage in the hostel. You never told me that I'm selected. So this came like a big thunderbolt for me. I didn't
Yeah.
say I didn't say goodbye to anybody. I didn't say goodbye to my friends in school. I didn't say goodbye to my neighbors, my family. I had a younger brother, by the way, who was just about 2.5 years old that time.
Oh.
Uh, so, I mean, all a gush of emotions came forth, and I just hid myself in the bathroom and started crying. Why did you do this to me? But that evening, I went and joined the hostel with those two sets of clothes in the condition that, in another 2, 3 days, my parents would come and get me the other sets and blah, blah. But that was the life-changing day in my life. And whatever I am today, thanks to Swami. So I had to make this long story because when Swami gives you a word, when Swami says yes to you, uh, he has his own time. He has his own life, I mean, time span. Like other day, I was reading a Swami's quote where he said, "Look, uh, when the engine comes and halts in the railway station, one bogie will come and attach. The engine won't start. Another bogie will come and attach. Another bogie. So the engine will wait for all the bogies, 70 bogies or 50 bogies to come and add. Then only it will start because its power is to pull so many bogies together all at once. So God has got its own timing, and it's not akin to the human timings or the human plans. And also, Swami has said many times that I come to you when you least expect me. So when we expect, he doesn't come to us. When you only surrender to him, he waits for that surrender. And when his time, appropriate time comes, then he accepts you. So this was the, transition from Hyderabad Public School from my childhood to teenage, I would say. Yeah.
No, that was
Mm,
truly such
mm,
a unique journey. Like especially you got the best of both worlds, whether it's from materialistically or spiritually by experiencing HPS and Swami's University, and
mhm,
and then also the big miracle that happened with getting the admission into the junior college so unexpectedly. It was almost like
mhm.
like you said, kind of like a thunderbolt. So that was
Okay.
truly wonderful.
Mm, mm.
So, kind of moving on to the next question, which is kind of more focused on the professional aspect. So, you've
Okay.
had a truly unique and inspiring journey. Like, you started off in marketing and advertising, and then you founded an award winning international residential school in Hyderabad, and then later
Mhm,
stepping into the Indian film industry. Could you
mhm,
share how your path evolved from graduating at Swami's University to entering the marketing world and eventually moving into education and filmmaking?
mhm. Yeah, sure. Excuse me.
No worries.
So I should start with this. We know when I said that in the ninth grade, I wanted, I prayed that Swami should take me in his college. In I don't know if it's in other religions, but at least in Hinduism, we always bargain with God, right?
Yep.
God, if you do this to me, I'll come and shave my head. If you do this to me, I'll come and climb your seven hills, or at
Yep.
least I'll break a coconut for you and all that. But of course, Swami didn't want coconuts or anything like that. So when I wanted to join Swami's college, I made um, I don't say promise, but I made a sort of a pledge to Swami saying that if I join your college, I'll serve you lifelong. I'll be in your mission, and whatever you ask me to do, I'll do that. So that was, again, I would say the foundation stone laid there. And then another interesting thing that happened, like my interest was always skewed towards, I told you, even in school, I was very interested in performing arts. It's dance or drama or uh, whatever performing arts it could be. So I used to take up a lot of things like the wisdom wall in the hostel, in the college, and take care of the cultural activities and so on and so forth. So that was 1985. Swami's 60th birthday was coming, and there were huge preparations going on. And Swami started almost 1 year ahead preparing for all the programs and all the activities for his 60th birthday. And there was one play, one drama that Swami had written during his childhood, and he had enacted it with his friends in his school days. So he brought out that script, gave it to one of my senior students, and said that you're going to play this during the 60th birthday celebrations. So the whole hostel was agog with activities, some in dance, some in Vedam chanting. Of course, anyway, I was already learning Vedam. I would be in Vedam chanting. And also, I was a photographer, and you can see one picture um, of me taking a picture of Swami in the background. So,
Wow.
uh, this particular aspect uh, of participating in 60th birthday was fine. I was a photographer. I would be in Vedam. I would be involved in something or the other. But with the affinity to performing arts, and every day Swami used to call the students who were involved in singing, the students who were involved in the drama, call them for interview, and line by line he used to direct, so on and so forth. So I sort of asked Swami, saying that, no, you're giving so many chances to so many people. You very well know that I am also very interested, and this is my life ambition to be in performing arts, so you should give me a chance. So Swami was so sweet that though the rehearsals were almost 1 or 2 months into practice, he had to create a extended scene at the end of the climax.
Oh,
And
wow.
this name of the drama was Radha Krishna. Radha, earlier it was Radha Bhakti, and now it was Radha Krishna. So how Radha yearned for Krishna and finally merged with him. So after Radha finally merges, Krishna comes to the Gokulam and meets Yashoda. So Swami gave me the role of Yashoda, to play the role of a Yashoda. And he extended the drama to create the scene so that I could be accommodated. So that's one thing I could never forget. And probably that was the foundation for my getting into the performing arts field. And of course, the photography was also there. And all the time, I would be quite close to Swami. There may be thousands and hundreds of lakhs of people during birthday celebrations and all that, but it always gave me my camera always gave me an access to be close to Swami. But the ring side of it is that today I very have very few pictures with me standing beside Swami, because I was on the other side of the camera. Most of the students have, because I took so many pictures of so many people standing beside Swami, but since I was always in front of Swami, I have very few pictures posing with Swami.
Oh,
Well, that's the ring side, but it gave me several opportunities. Uh, and Swami would recognize one day there was a upper primary school being inaugurated in Puttaparthi, and Swami sent word for me. Because those days, this was in 1987 or something, there were no official photographers. Swami's photographers used to come only during a festival time from Bangalore or from Bombay. So he just sent word for me to cover that event. I mean, like this, quite a few good opportunities I had to. I loved bunk college and so on, and attend these events and all that. Another good thing that another memorable thing that Swami had, when I told him after this play that, I have a lot of interest because Swami, remember when he was in school, when there was a celebrity called Rishendri Mani wanted to,
yes, I remember that. Yeah.
she was supposed to do a charity show and she did not show up in the last minute. So Swami did that role and nobody would see the difference that it was Swami or Rishendra Mani. So I wrote to Swami saying that, you know, I also want to do something similar. I want to perform before you and things like that. So one day he came and asked, did you learn dance at all? He said, no, I didn't learn. Uh, I just, watch and I can imitate it. It's a natural flair. So Swami said, okay. Then Swami went again out of the way to appoint a dance teacher exclusively for me.
Wow.
So there was somebody who came from Hyderabad, and he would live in Prashantiliam for almost 2, 3 months, if I remember well. Of course, later on, other groups were also attached to him. But this guy, the dance teacher, would come exclusively to the college. teach me dance for 2 hours in the morning. And Swami gave permission that I need not attend the morning assembly also.
Oh,
So
nice.
such was the, you know, uh, minute things Swami would look into. Every student, like Swami says, love of 1,000 mothers. It's not just a slogan or it's not just a word. Anything. I mean, I was nobody. And I mean, if you talk in terms of like my parents are not office bearers, and it's not that, I was a VIP son or so on and so forth. But I mean, sorry, I shouldn't be even saying all this when in relation to Swami, but I'm saying it from a very mundane point of view
Sure.
when I have to really describe what it means for 1,000 mothers' love. So anything anybody asks, Swami would give it at a physical level. I'm not talking about prayers and blessings and boons and all that. So such was the loving mother Sai who would take care of every student in the college. So this is how I got into performing arts, and so I had photography, I had dance, I had acting. Swami was preparing me, and then I had this decoration part of it. And
Wow.
in many other future events also, I was, taking care of my other colleagues with their makeup and organizing stuff behind the stage and so on and so forth. So all this laid foundation for the future. And exactly 10 years later, after I left college, I remember I left college, Swami's college, sometime in 1988. Again, I'll come back to that 1988 because I made a promise, a pledge to Swami that I would be there, right? So I'll come back to that. So when I came out of college and I was really exploring what to do, that was after my advertising. Okay, let me go back to college again. And
Yeah.
uh, my favorite subject was organization behavior and of course marketing research. Sorry, marketing and advertising. And one day we had an activity where in organization behavior, you're supposed to identify it's a SWOT analysis, identify your
Yes.
strengths and weaknesses, and others also would identify the strengths and weaknesses. So when I identified my strength and weaknesses, I don't remember exactly what I wrote, but the most surprising element was when my friends wrote about me, the way they pursued me. I'm a very talented artist. I have a very artistic flair and a good performer. I mean, I did not write all these things, but they wrote this.
Wow.
So I told you I was an introvert, maybe an inferiority complex. I don't know. But Swami was slowly removing all this and filling this tumbler or glass with confidence and being an extrovert and so on and so forth. So that day, and I remember my advanced management professor, the topic he gave me was a film director's approach to creativity in filmmaking. The subject was creativity in advertising and marketing, but he perceived me as a filmmaker. I don't know what made him perceive. So that sowed the seed then. Again, I would say Swami's will and grace that, okay, these are the perceptions that my friends have. These are the perceptions that my teachers have about me. I didn't know about this. It's like Lord Hanuman didn't know that he can cross the Lanka,
True.
cross over to the Lanka. He had that strength in one flight. He could do it. So this way, Swami was like removing the layers of the lotus, peeling the petals and unfolding, blooming the lotus. And that's how the personality was shaping. And I should also mention another incident in this regard. Uh, the same year in Swami's 60th birthday time, my elder brother went to US. He went to Texas A&M University. uh, quite close to your place.
Yep.
Uh, when I'd been to US, I visited his university.
Oh, nice.
So, so after being there for a year or so, he said, I think you're going to, because in 6 months I was going to finish my degree, and that is my BCom.
Yes.
And he was asking me to come over and pursue higher studies there, like he was doing it. So, being a student, we would never do anything without asking Swami.
Sure.
So, one day I wrote to Swami and ensure that I sit in the first row that day in the darshan line so that I get an answer for Swami. So, I said, my brother is asking me to come, and I would like to leave after with your permission, I would like to leave after my degree and so forth. So Swami came that day, and 1 hour he was talking about this topic, standing in front of me.
Oh,
So
God.
he was making it light, he was making it jovial, but in serious terms, he said, no, next year I'm going to start. That's the time he revealed, next year I'm going to start a management course here. Why do you people go abroad to study? You belittle India thinking that there is what is wrong with our university, with our college? Why do you want to go abroad and study? I remember he made all statements like, you know, oh, you have lots of black money, is it? So you take all the black money and go and marry a white woman there. Is that your intention? So all sorts of things Swami was saying. And then I remember that day, Jamuna Garu, the actress, was also there. So he said, నీకు బెస్ట్ నువ్వు జమున దగ్గరికి వెళ్ళి డాన్స్ నేర్చుకో హైదరాబాద్లో కాలేజ్ అయిపోయిన తర్వాత అదే బెస్ట్ థింగ్ ఫర్ యూ. This was again a very prophetic statement, I must say, because later on, when I started the Abhyasa International School, Jamuna Garu happened to be one of our governing body members, and she was very, very instrumental in shaping the policy of the school. And almost every 2 months, she would come to the school, spend a lot of time with the kids there. So she was very much associated right from the beginning of the school. And when Swami said, Jamuna Nagarikili dance netko, so, it had its own meaning. You learn from her how to, you know, run a school or how to take care of children and all that. Yeah. So then it my fate was sealed. So I continued my post graduation at Puttaparthi, and I decided not to go abroad. And mind you, when I had to go abroad just to visit my brother much later, thrice my visa was rejected.
Oh,
So he wouldn't even uh, you know uh, get me. Swami wouldn't even get me a visitor's visa for a long time.
oh, wow.
Anyway, so now after I left college, in 1995, exactly 10 years after 1985, after the 60th birthday, one day Swami comes in my dream and says, because by that time I had completed my stint in advertising. I told you the backstory because how I got into advertising, how I got into market research, because my friends, my professors, that's the spark they had seen in me. And because when I looked at performing arts and etc., I was looking at, uh, you know, only performing arts as a career. But again,
Yes.
that requires an education. So I had to somehow blend the both because this was in 1980s and there was no qualifications for performing arts, or rather it was too late for me to get enrolled into that. Maybe I should have done it after school. So I sort of took a Y media, took to advertising because it's also a creative art,
Yes.
and that's how I started my stint with advertising, and then
Yeah.
after that market research. After 5 6 years in these both fields, uh, it was getting a little difficult for me because again, back in those days, there were rules and regulations. You had to be home by 10:30. No going out, staying out late at night. And advertising is such an creative industry. You have to go to parties, you have to sit late into the night. I remember my friends or colleagues in this industry used to tell me, hey, why don't you smoke here? Why don't you drink here? I had to really create some excuse. I said, hey, and they used to tell me, like, oh, you just take a puff and see what creative ideas you get. You don't normally get such ideas without that. I had to tell them, look, I'm not a steam engine. I don't need to puff my way to get ideas. I can do without it. So, well, again, thanks to the strength that Swami gave me, I could say no and also stay in the company of people because you know how difficult it. If you
I
don't
know.
smoke, your colleagues won't like you. If you don't drink along with them, they look at you differently. So even today, when I go back to my HPS alumni forums, I sort of see this. There are just three or four of us who don't drink or smoke, and you are looked at. Of course, they look at you with respect, no doubt about that.
Yeah,
But you lose company. I mean, you are looked at as a saint and not as somebody like them. So it does create a wall there. But nevertheless, I was trying to start something on my own because, being uh, working under somebody, being somebody else's employee is very different from if I do something on my own.
exactly.
So I thought the marketing research would actually help me because some project which is very viable, I would start doing that project myself. That was the time when I was asking Swami, and Swami appeared in a dream exactly 10 years after 1985, 60th birthday of Swami. In 1995, August,
Oh my God.
he appears and says, hey, look, remember I gave you the role of Yashoda 10 years back. So you think I just gave it to you for namesake or time pass just because you wanted it? No, you have to play that role in real life now. So I didn't understand, all this is in the dream. I didn't understand, Swami, what do you mean by play the role of Yashoda? So he had a plate full of sweets and he gave that plate and said, give these sweets to those kids who are playing there. I went and gave those sweets to the kids who are playing there. Swami, I didn't still understand what you mean by that. So I could have given the sweets directly, right? So why did I ask you to give it? You have to play the role of a foster mother like Yashoda, who took care of Krishna. So that's the role I'm going to give you. Don't look for starting this industry or that industry. You're going to start a school. So the message was very clear. And again, from then on, every day, not I won't say every day, sorry, but every week or month, Swami would come and guide me, do this, don't do this. And the finances, oh my God, that was a real big miracle, I would say again. I was wanting to go abroad again and with the help of my brother to get some NRI funds or have some charity shows, charity dinners, as very common in US. So I was trying all my level best to get people into this thing, but finding it very difficult. So my dad came forward and he said, "Look, I've been seeing you that you're quite serious about this." So that was the time, in 1995, the economic reforms after the
Yeah,
Manmohan Singh, PV Narasimha Rao government, there was an economic boom. The
yeah.
economy opened up, the share prices were. My dad had invested long back in some blue chip companies, and whatever little he invested those days was something like multi-fold, the prices have gone up. And he was
Okay.
expecting that there would be a crash one day, and it actually happened. The
Oh,
Harshit Mehta scam happened after he sold all his shares.
oh wow.
So he said, I'll sell all these shares because I see anything that rises has to fall. Before it falls, I'll sell all these and I'll construct these things. So all you have to do is give the family some rent so that we could live a graceful life. You can run the school the way you want it. So, by the way, I sorry, I missed the main point. I was making all my attempts to go to US. My brother said, "Okay, come over." I just jumped the gun. Sorry, I'm going in a
No,
parallel narration as you have in movies. It's not going in a linear narration.
fine. Fine.
So, my brother said, "Okay," and he sent all his papers. By this time, he was not a student. He was settled. He was doing a job. He sent all his papers so that I could get my visa. And suddenly, one fine day, Swami comes and says, "ఎక్కడికి వెళ్ళొద్దు. We are not beggars. ఎవరి దగ్గరికి వెళ్ళి డబ్బు యాచించకూడదు. డబ్బు మన దగ్గరే ఉంది." That's all. The dream ends. I woke up sweating, frozen, and my brother is not a very much of a, uh, even a theist, I would say. He's like agnostic or atheist, I don't know. And if I tell him that, look, Swami came in my dream and he told me not to go to US, he'll think I'm gone bonkers. So I can't tell this to anybody, and I was just because I told everybody, okay, I'm in 2 3 days I'll be going to Madras. Those days we had to go to Chennai and get the visa and all.
Yeah,
And suddenly I tell everybody that I'm not going anywhere. But Swami really tests your faith. And look at the words he used. Dabbu manadegre undi. The money is there with us. Now, we means what? My dad never told me that he has invested in shares and those prices have gone up. Even those days, all we used to live on, my dad was not working those days, by the way. And
hmm,
all we used to live on a rent that came from a property somewhere in Hyderabad, somewhere in Secunderabad. I
yeah,
know only that we live on that rent from that property. And where from did Swami say that we have the money? It was just 1 month exactly after this dream. And I told my dad, I'm not going to US. I Let me see what I can do. That's when he came out and said, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to construct a building and give it to you. And then you, after second or after a period of 3 years, you start paying rent. And then from the rent again, I'll plow back the money and building more buildings and all that. That's how we built up the school in 10, 15 years, actually,
wow,
building after building every year. But that was again a statement. And again, I'm connecting it to the pledge that I made to Swami that I would be there and serve his mission throughout my lifetime. Then I got it that, look, I may leave Swami, but he's not going to leave me. So
exactly.
I may have broken the pledge. The reason I came back from Parthi was probably, I can tell you in the course of my talk, that I'm basically, uh, like Swami also always says that don't believe in anything blindly. Don't believe in me also blindly. You have to inquire, you have to examine, you have to investigate, then convince yourself, then only believe it. Don't because our Sanatan Dharma always said that you have to explore. The rishis always did that. They used to explore things, and the Gita came much later, but nobody had a ready-made treatise. Okay, do this, don't do this, and all that. Even the Gita doesn't tell you don't do this, do this. There's no Bible or Quran in Hinduism. It only
Exactly.
guides you about why things happen this way or that way. It only
Hmm.
shows you the path. It doesn't
Exactly.
give you policies or directions. So going back, uh, I was somehow feeling that because I had a goal, performing arts, and then via media, advertising, creative arts. So obviously, staying in Parthi, those things would not be fulfilled. And so, most importantly, my dad started emotionally, you know, I wouldn't say, I don't say blackmailing, but I mean, I can't think of another word. Because after my brother left for US, I told you my younger brother he was like 13 years younger to me.
Yeah.
And so he was just hardly when I completed my post graduation, he must be like some 10, 11 years old. So he was saying very repeatedly, those days there were no emails or write letters to me saying that we are feeling lonely. You should come back after your brother left to US. You are the eldest son now. You should come back and take care of us and all that. Well, regarding my profession, okay, I can have second thoughts, but this part of my parents calling me back, well, I have no choices and I have no second thoughts because Swami also always says parents first. And since my parents were wanting me back there in Hyderabad, I had to tell Swami that, look, Swami, I'm going. So I remember usually, when we finish our education in Puttaparthi or Brindavan, we wait there in the mandir for a long time, wait for Swami to tell us something and give us directions and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, and incidentally, Swami doesn't talk to the students, especially the old students at that time. He's giving you again a testing time. Some people, they stay, they wait for weeks and months until Swami tells them to do something. Others, they just go away without, uh, you know, getting any word for Swami because they already decided their career or they would have got a job or whatever it is. They have to go and join their blah, blah. So I waited there in June 1998, sorry, June 18, sorry, 1988, yeah. I was waiting for a word for Swami to tell him, take his blessings and go. As usual, Swami was ignoring the students. And you won't believe it. Even I can't believe myself that I wrote to Swami like this. I said, look, Swami, my dad wants me to be there with him. Now, you don't do all your testing and all that with me and see how many days I'm going to wait here for you to react and all that. I have to leave in this week. Please come, bless me so that I can leave. This is the letter I wrote to him. And then, I mean, this is something I should share that I always, shared this kind of a very, um, I would say I was like a friend and as well like a son. Like just like a child would talk to the mother, I would be very nagging or even whining and say, no, I want this. That's it. You better give it to me. That was my no begging, no pleading. God, if I deserve it, giving. No, I would demand it straight away from Swami. Again, Swami was so sweet. I remember that day he went to the Kalyana Mandapam to perform some wedding. And every day he would avoid the student side and go directly into the interview room, the mandir.
Oh,
So
wow.
that day, that day he came straight to me. He stood in front of me and said, "Okay, take Mother Namaskaram and go." He said. So I was shocked because, mind you, he never did this to anybody. If in the I lived there for 8 years and if he had done this to somebody, I wouldn't have been so shocked. So he went out of his way, came, stood in front of me and said, "Take Padnamaskara and you can go." He said. So I was looking like this to Swami shop. I'm telling you, once Swami had to repeat it 3 times. Then
Yeah.
I sort of gained my, uh, awareness and then actually took Namaskar. And then I again apologized to Swami. Swami, was I curt or did I make you angry? You seem to be a little, I didn't smile at me while saying take Namaskar and all that. So again, I stayed and Swami was sweet enough. He came. I got my dissertation thesis blessed and all that. So that's then began my journey in Hyderabad. So the advertising, again, marketing research, and then finally the role given by Swami, which said that even if you forget your pledge or you break your word, I won't make you break your word. Now, that was the uh, kind of the experience or kind of a incident that took me to the establishment of Abhyasa Residential Public School. And then I physically went to Swami with the prospectus. He blessed it. The day in front, he stood in front of me and he was talking to the high school principal, the Puttaparthi Prashantiliam High School principal, and instructing him, but actually he was telling me everything. Exams time, papers might get leaked, then the exam will get postponed. So what kind of food you should give in the hostel, what kind of care should he stood there for 1.5 hours. Those days, bhajan used to be at 11 o'clock. So
Yeah.
after interviews were over at 10 o'clock, till 11 o'clock, he was standing and giving instructions about how to run a school. That was so very sweet of him. So
Yeah.
that's how Abhyasa school started. And every year we took the students to Puttaparthi. Swami would make us sit in a particular, place, and he would come and give Padnamaskaram. He would give a prasadam vibhuti and talk to the students and all that. So that's how Abhyasa school started. Now, your next question was about the movie stuff.
Yeah.
So, uh, as I was running the school, every year I used to run plays. I used to, literally write the operas and direct them and record and everything. So I made it a point that I'm not going to take operas, or I'm not going to take established literature. I used to write my own plays
Wow.
and create stories and dramas, mostly on current event. Let's say there's something happening in the country, like the time, let's say Ram Janmabhoomi happened, I would write a play or an opera based on the theme of Ram Janmabhoomi. I remember in 2012, it was this Anna Hazare was leading uh, a movement on corruption and all that. So there was a movement, I mean, there was a play about corruption and stuff like that. Then on Swachh Bharat, you name it, and on the current happenings when Telangana and Andhra were separated, I made a play on that also about what happens when a joint family separates. There are advantages, disadvantages. So these are all original plays happening at that time.
Wow.
So first time when I left school, I went to US in 2006. That was a long hiatus I had, First time I was leaving the school. I used to stay on the school campus, and after 10 years, things came that, I had people who could run it even if I'm not there. So that was its first time, I stayed away from school for 2, 3 months, took a break,
Mm-hmm.
came to US. A lot of churning happened inside. You know, my creative instincts were coming back. And though I was happy what I'm doing, again, Swami used to come, not say anything, but smile and sort of give a impetus to what I was feeling. I wanted to write a book or maybe do something creative apart from just running the school. Because after the school was established, my duty there was only policing, apart
Yeah.
from mentoring the kids, of course. So in a day, I would spend 1 hour mentoring the kids during the evening time, or Saturday and Sunday was the time when they had free. I could interact with them and spiritual talks and value talks and stuff like that. But rest of the time, my duty was only like policing. Yeah, you're doing your work properly. Yeah, it's like that. Once the
Exactly.
so the urge was coming back, and then one day again, here by because this was by 2007, 2008, Swami was not well and already taking a back step, not very physically accessible and stuff like that. But every time I used to go to Kodaikanal, I used to get a closer opportunity to visit Swami, give him letters and all that. So one fine day, one parent from the school comes and says, I want you to attend some program. It's just called the Landmark Education. Have you heard of this Landmark Education?
It sounds
It's
familiar.
yeah, it's got its headquarters in San Francisco, and they got a worldwide network. It's very close to what Advaita and what Swami preaches and all that. But I think somehow Swami wanted me to go through it. And this lady, this parent invited me to attend the program. And there you had the orator saying that if you do this course, it's just a week or 10 days, you can have whatever you want in your life. Like a gospel statement he makes. I
Yeah.
said, wow. The first thought that came to me was, oh, wow, can I make a movie? uh, when I heard this guy say that. And this is a very interesting thing wherein, you have to basically open up. You have to communicate with people whom you have some issues with, somebody you're not talking to for a long time. Go open up before the persons. Be honest. Practice integrity is the core of this particular thing. And they say that when you practice integrity, because whatever you say is truth, so whatever you say is truth and whatever you say is happening, like Swami says, Trikarana Shuddhi. What you're thinking, you're saying. What you're saying, you're doing. These are all, I'm telling you, the ancient principle and what Swami says is embedded in a very Western pattern called the landmark education. Nothing different from that. But probably, it sort of goes around like that. And unless you know, eat it in a different format, you taste it in a different format, you don't get to. Probably Swami nudged me to go there. The first thought that came to me was, oh, wow, can I make a movie? And then I enrolled myself into the course. And after doing the whole thing, on the last day, you have to make declarations. Mind you, this is the
Oh,
best part of it. You have to make declarations before a whole audience. And they tell you that declarations are very powerful. And of course, when you make a declaration, you have to start acting upon it. Only then things will happen. It's not that you make a declaration and things will manifest. Sometimes things will just manifest on its own, but the integrity part is you have to start working about it. You have to start working on it, taking some action about it. So the first thought and then the last thought at the end of the course was, I'm going to make a movie that brings an Oscar. I'm going to bring an Oscar to Hyderabad. Of course, somebody's already got it last year, but I said I'm going to bring the Oscar to Hyderabad. That was a declaration I made in front of people. And then I have to make 5 declarations. Okay, they call it personal, they call it social, they call it at the world level, universe, something. The 5 declarations that I have to make. So one of the declarations I made was I'm going to make a movie that brings an Oscar to Hyderabad. Second thing is uh, I'm going to make Abhyasa one of the top schools in India, and that has been fulfilled today. For the last 10 years, mind you, this declaration was made in 2008. And right from 2012-13 academic year till 2025, 13 years, we have been ranked as the number one residential school, best residential school in Telangana. And even as on today, we rank number 15. Like one year it's 15, one year is 16, one year it was 19. But among the top 20 best residential schools in India. So
wow,
the
that's wonderful.
second that declaration was fulfilled. Then at a personal level, I said that, I want to have an apartment overlooking. I love water bodies, either a sea or because of course I can't leave Hyderabad. I have to be with my parents. So I wanted, and there's no sea or river in Hyderabad. So I said, I'm going to, I gave myself 5 years to get an apartment overlooking a huge lake, water body, or whatever it is. And mind you, it 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 didn't take me 5 years, but in 10 years it happened. I don't know how it happened. One day I was just passing by. Right now, the office where I'm sitting is overlooking the Hussain Sagar Lake. I don't know if you know
Oh,
Hyderabad.
yeah, I know
And
Hussein Sagar. That's where the Buddha statue is, right?
yeah, yeah. So this apartment where I'm in, it's right on the banks of Hussain Sagar and right next to the Necklace Road and with a huge water body. And this is how this so-called technology of landmark education works. And it's got its root in Yadbhavam Tad Bhavati, which Upanishad says. And what Swami also says that, you know, when you ask for something, you know, you need to develop the deservedness so that I come and give it to you. So this way, I'm just giving you two instances where, things started unfolding. And I primarily, here I would like to make a point because a lot of my friends also tell me that, whatever you have asked, Swami has given it. Yeah, I mean, we envy you and all that. I tell them only one thing. Look, I'm not anybody special or I'm not a special child for Swami. Basically, you know, uh, I don't look upon myself as something in. Most of us say, Swami, everything is your will. Whatever you will happen to us. I said, I don't believe in that. This is what I said. I may sound blasphemous.
Hmm.
Whatever we want, we should demand from Swami. You remember that story where in Kodaikanal, Professor Anil Kumar, was posing beside Swami. Swami was on one side of Swami's car. Professor Anil Kumar was other side of Swami's car. So Professor Anil Kumar was standing like this beside Swami. Swami said, "Hey, stand properly. That's not the way to stand." And then, Swami, how can I stand like that? He said, "Put your hand on the car. Put your hand on the car and stand as if you're the owner of the car." Swami, what is this? I can't stand like that. It's not my car, it's your. See, if as long as you feel you're a servant or you're a subordinate, you will be a subordinate. Think you're Swami's friend or think you are Swami himself and think you're the owner of this car. Put your hand. You think, sorry, actually, he said, I am such a, lowest, I belong to the lowest echelon for this of the society. How can I own such a high-end car? That was exactly the word that he used. So if you believe in me, if you have faith in me, don't you think that he said two things? Think of yourself as equal to me. And he also said, if you think that I can give it to you, can't I give this car to you?
True.
So most of the time, I think we are trained or taught to think that, God decides what. After all, even in the Gita, Swami never said, I decide what you should do. He said it's your karma. And
Exactly.
so when it's our karma, don't we decide what we should do? And I can
Exactly.
put my hand on my heart and say, I have not cheated anybody in my life. I have not, duped anybody in my life. And maybe in the past, I used to tell lies. But after landmark education, again, I say it's Swami's, what it's a Swami's gift to me. After landmark education, I've stopped telling lies also because I want my word to come true. Whatever I say
Yeah.
should happen. So my one Oscar is still pending. If I want that to come true, so I should be speaking truth in every act, every sentence of mine. I have a selfishness or a goal. I don't know, but I practice integrity. So with that confidence, I can put my hand on my heart and say that, look, My karma is good. You better give it to me. I fight with him. Anything goes wrong in the school also, we have some problems from parents. He said, you better solve it. Otherwise, you see what I'm going. That's the kind of a dialogue I have with Swami.
Yeah.
So the beautiful thing is Yad Bhavam Tad Bhavati. Swami responds to you as you see him. And I often tell my friends that if we say, oh, not even an ant moves without
His will.
Telugu, they say, no, Shivudagya Lenade Chimaina Kuttada and all that. Swami
Yeah,
once
yeah.
said he was sitting in the Bhajan Mandir and talking to us. One fly came and sat on his feet. And then he asked, you think this fly is going to go to moksha now just because it sat on my feet and had padnamaskaram? It's going to instantly get moksha or what? So we don't normally talk about these aspects or think about these aspects. And we only look at, okay, Swami, you're a savior, Swami, because I'm sorry, I told you I'll be a little revolutionary. Because, when we survive in an organization, we have to sound very humble. We have to pretend very humble. You can't sound blasphemous. So even your friendship with Swami, you have to somehow get pretend and say, oh, for my humble pranams at the lotus feet of Bhagavan. But when I think of Swami, I always think of my mom, unless I talk to him like I talk to my mom or a friend. I don't look at myself as a subordinate of Swami. And that's how I've always demanded things from Swami, and that's how Swami has always given things to me like that. So, uh, yeah, then came the journey, then started the journey into the film industry. Trust me, the month I declared this, uh, I saw an advertisement on television, Hyderabad's first film school, Ramanaidu Film School. They just started that year. That month they're going to start. So earlier we had only Pune Institute. That was the only institution in all over India. Now we have many film and television institutions. But when I was growing up, that was the only film institute that they had. So Hyderabad's first film school started that very month.
Wow.
And I went and joined that. And then it was a 2-year course. I completed the course. I did NYFA after that. The day I finished my course and submitted my thesis film, Swami left us. Swami attained Samadhi.
Oh.
And the very next day, somebody declared in the media that they're going to make a movie on Swami.
Mm-hmm.
And I should also mm, mention that, you know, I told you in 2008, 9, 10, those were the just 2, 3 years. The physical access to Swami was very less. But I used to write letters to Swami. So again, guiding through dreams. But one such meeting, Swami, whenever I used to sit in the veranda with the student Swamis, I used to think one day I should come as a. I told you my HPS background, I dream big and think mega. So one
Yep.
day I should come and sit with the VIPs there in this very portico as some very important person. That was my some I would say uh, juvenile kind of a dream or ambition. So in 2010, Hyderabad Samiti took a group of vice chancellors and the who's who in the education field of Hyderabad, principals and vice chancellors and directors and all to Swami. So my friend said, hey, you also come along. You're also running a school. Hey, Swami will kick me out there if I go and sit with all the vice chancellors and directors and all that. Because whatever it is, I'm still a student and an old student. No, 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 I'm not going to come. Hey, don't be a fool, yeah. Just come. Swami is giving you the opportunity. So I said, yeah, why not? Why am I again making myself inferior or subordinate? Chalo, Swami is giving me the opportunity. So first time I sat in front of Swami. This was just 1 year before Swami left. In 2010, I sat in the portico along with Vice Chancellor right in front of Swami. Virgin used to happen outside, right?
Yeah.
So That time I made a prayer. Swami, I came into this field, despite running a school, I came into the cinema field, and I'm not yet completed the course yet, but the course was going on. You haven't spoken much about this as you're spoken about the school. Please guide me. Please tell me something. And next day, Swami gave a discourse for all these educationalists, and the Hyderabad Samiti people came. You won't believe Swami was talking about education. After half an hour, he switched over to films.
Oh,
I don't know if you remember those days, Swami was not physically well. People
yeah,
used to talk all sorts of things. Like
I remember
Swami has
that.
become senile, is talking something, he switches from one topic to another and all that. For any other person, it did sound like that. Imagine jumping from education to film. Swami never spoke about films. You look at
Exactly.
this discourse in January 2010, maybe it's there in it's there on YouTube, I'm not sure. Swami started saying, he started talking about Gemini Ganeshan, started talking about Kanchanamala, how she spoiled her career because of wrongly. So don't get into illicit relationships, don't get into all sorts of distractions. You should be focused on your. So this was the thing Swami was directly telling in a physical form in the Purnachandra auditorium. The discourse was exclusively for this team from Hyderabad.
Hmm.
And after this, uh, in 2011 January, we had our alumni meet. Every year, even now, we have January
Yeah,
31st and January
exactly.
1st as our alumni meet.
Yeah.
And that year, Swami has started the Vidya Vahini program. You're
Yes.
aware of the Vidya Vahini program?
Yes, I've heard of the Vidya Vahini program.
Yeah. So in November 2010, Swami started the Vidya Vahini program in association with Tata Consultancy Services. And in January, when the alumni, went there, Swami wanted to speak. Again, that time also Swami gave a discourse. He gave Padnamaskaram to everybody in the Punachandra auditorium. Suddenly, Satyajit came and told that Swami wants to meet the educationalists in this group, those who will be involved with Vidya Vahini program. So just 10, 15 of us, including the Anantapur girls, teachers, the ladies and gents, 15 of us went into the mandir, and Swami came from Punachandra back to mandir and started speaking to us. And
Wow.
while speaking to us, he was looking at me like this, staring into the eyes for at least, without batting the eyelid, staring into my eyes for almost 2 minutes. But
Wow.
he was talking, continuously talking. See, involve the ladies also. Don't keep it exclusively for men and women separately, because women have better maternal instincts. They'll be able to make better lesson plans and do greater justice to education. This was what he was talking about,
Yeah.
but looking into my eyes directly. And at one point of time, I had to say, look, I'm not able to bat my eyelids. Stop it, Swami. I mean, I'm not able to bear it. Was the kind of intensity. That was my last darshan of Swami, because I went there again after he attained Samadhi. So physically, that was the last. And that previous year's discourse, and I thought, I don't know what, but I had a great message. I didn't even couldn't interpret the message or whatever it is. But 3 months later, I finished my course. I submitted my thesis film. Swami left us. And the very next day, somebody said, we are going to make a movie on Satya Sai Baba. And now, Swami, I finished this course. Till then, I never had this idea that I'll make a film on Swami, because Anjali Devi Garu already made. And when Swami is physically there, I dare not make a film on Swami, right? I did. And I didn't know that Swami was going to leave. I just joined the film school out of my passion.
Yeah.
And the day I submitted my thesis, Swami passed away. And next day, somebody announces they'll make a movie on Swami. I could see all this coincidence happening. And then I went off to the New York Film Academy to do the 1 month diploma. I came back in June. And then I was trying to explore how to contact these people now. Who's this guy who made the declaration I want to contact? Again, you won't believe it. My classmate at Ramanadu Film School calls me and says, hey, what are you doing? Because, we had to compare notes. Each one of us in the film school went and joined the big directors. Two people went and joined Rajamouli. Two people went and joined Dev Katta, blah, 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 blah. So everybody was comparing notes. What are you doing? That guy asked me. I said, I just came back from the 1 month course. So I'm just seeing what to do and all that. I asked, what are you doing? He said, I joined Dev Katta. We started one project and so on and so forth. Yesterday, some fellow called me. He belongs to my native place. It seems they're doing one movie on Sathya Sai Baba. He came and asked me to join Mr. Kodi Ramakrishna. I said, no, sorry, I'm already. I said, hey, this is what I was looking for. Who's that guy who called you and asked you to join in that? Please call him up, ask him to take me to the director because I don't know where the director lives or who the producer is. I just don't know. So that was another breakthrough. And so he took me to the producer, Mr. Harirama Jogaya, and said, okay, you were a student of Swami, you did the film direction course also. Oh, that means there was something, that's a big qualification for them, at least.
Yeah.
And then joined that uh, team. And this director, he doesn't do one movie at a time. Again, maybe from experience point of view, he was doing a Kannada movie. He was writing a script for a Hindi movie. He was also doing a Tamil movie. So at least for 3, 4 years, I had this opportunity to travel with him wherever he went. I was along with him throughout as an associate director. And of course, he gave me a lot of regard and he respected me as a principal, as a head of an institution. And he would treat me as a good friend, as a brother. And I learned a lot of things under his tutelage, working with him, how to make movies, how to write stories. This is the practical side of the experience.
I see.
So after traveling for 3 years, unfortunately, one day he fell ill. He had a paralytic stroke and he
Oh my
fell
God.
ill, and all his movies got to a standstill. So that was the time I made my debut, like Waiting in Wilderness, because I was
Yeah.
just idle. So I made that, and it went to some film festivals, and I that happened. So after 1 year, he started recovering, and he started, Mr. Kodi Ramakrishna started recovering, and again the idea of taking up this film and all this was coming up. So he sent me to Cochin to meet Mr. Mohanlal. He wanted Mr. Mohanlal to play the role. I went and requested him. He had agreed. But then some difference of opinion in the pricing and all that. So
Yeah.
Mr. Mohanlal backed out and some other actor came into picture. And when I went to Kerala, something funny happened. I mean, something strange happened. One, Malayalam Manorama is a very popular news publication in Kerala. So
I
there is a
see.
correspondent in Puttaparthi also. That
Oh,
magazine has a correspondent in Puttaparthi. So, sorry. So
oh,
Swami's movie was moving towards the Kerala industry.
wow.
Mohanlal and then the Malayalam actor. This guy was always keeping, this Malayalam Manorama correspondent was keeping track of me So he keeps calling. He used to keep calling me every 2, 3 days. One day he called me. I was in Kerala, so he got a Malayalam message. You get a message that the person cannot take your call now. If you're in Kerala, you get a Malayalam message back.
Yes.
So this guy, he got a Malayalam message and realized I was in Kerala, and he got pretty excited, kept on calling me.
Oh God.
And I thought, okay, what happened? I called him back. Sir, you're in Kerala. Yeah, man, I came for some meetings and all. He said, sir, you should visit Guruvayur. I said, I visited when I was a kid. No, 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 you're in Cochin. You should visit Guruvayur. Okay. Then next day again, he calls up and said, are you going to Guruvayur? You should meet an astrologer. I said, look, Swami has said that only two planets rule you, Raga, Dvesha, attachment, detachment. These are the two planets which rule you. So why should we believe in the nine planets? I'm not interested. Ever since I joined Swami's college, I never went to an astrologer. Why should I go? No, sir, this guy is the Asthan, the official astrologer for Kerala government. He's a Swami's devotee. Anyway, the temple, you'll reach there at only 3, and if it opens at 4, you'll have almost 1.5 hours. But okay, again, Swami is sort of prompting me, pushing me there. So when I went there, he made a very landmark statement. I don't know if I can say this now, but Mr. Kodi Ramakrishna is no more. Uh,
Yeah.
but I said, I speak the truth. I don't have to
Yeah. Please feel.
be. This guy said, uh, not Mr. Kodi Ramakrishna, you are going to make Swami's movie, he said. I said, no, no, you're mistaken. I'm only an associate director. I'm working with him. I thought he's trying to please me, or astrologers try to please you. And by the way, he wouldn't take any money because Swami is devotee and Swami is student and blah blah blah.
Mhm.
But of course, anyway. But then I thought, okay, he's not obviously saying this to please me, but he said one thing. No, you are going to make Swami, but only thing is you have to pray to him, seek his blessing, seek his permission. Go and stay in Puttaparthi for 2, 3 weeks. Sorry, 2, 3 days. Sorry, and seek his permission at Swami's Samadhi. So actually, I didn't take this guy very seriously. I really thought he's fibbing and he's trying to please me. So when the other actor, I don't want to take up his name here.
Yeah. Yeah.
uh, when the other actor, Al Malayalam, he's a very superstar, a very big person also, like Mr. Mohanlal. He came on board. First thing he told me is, why don't you write the story? Because you lived with Swami and you also have a degree in screenplay writing and all that. He liked some of the events and episodes that I told. He said, you start writing. I said, it's not proper on me to write because there is a senior director there. No, 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 you don't tell him. I said, no, I'm not going to do all that backbiting or something behind. He said, we'll tell him when it's appropriate, but you start writing the story. When the time comes, we'll tell him. But if he asks me, I'm going to tell the truth. I'm not going to tell a lie. So, like this, the process of writing Swami's story started. So every week I used to get calls from this actor and his manager. How's the story progressing? At least once in 2 months, they used to send me a ticket. So the research, the writing, all this started in 2014.
Wow.
And then the director started smelling fish and saying, what is happening? Why in the movie started? And why is the actor not giving dates? So one day he asked me, what's happening? I said, he asked me to write the story. I'm writing. He got a shock of his life.
Oh God.
How dare they do this? And then he sort of dumped this actor. He dumped the producers also who were from Kerala and went and found somebody to do the movie. And one fine day, Swami comes in my dream and says, "You disassociate yourself from this movie." Before I could do it, the director himself was quite angry with me. But of course, since he needs me, I was going on. But one day, Swami himself came and said, "You disassociate yourself with this." Again, it was like a dream come crashing down. Oscar for Hyderabad, film industry, traveled with a director who had made 125 films. I should say no and stop going to him. Then I started discussing with my friend, my Parthi students. Hey, Swami came and told me like this, yeah, what should I do and all that. Then one friend, it's okay, yeah, Swami will tell so many things. We don't know what it means. Uh, no, you should not stop, he said. Then I remember it was Ugadi 2015 or something. I went and I wanted to, because it's a festival, I wanted
Yeah.
to give sweets and all that. So I went with the sweets to the director. First time in 5 years when I went to the director's home, he was not there at home.
Oh,
His brother had passed away. He went to his native place.
I see.
I didn't, I could not give the sweets there because the brother has passed away. It's a morning. So I came back without meeting him and came back with the sweets. Then I said, okay, Swami, okay, when I was in a dilemma, now you are giving me the answer in this way. Chalo, I went full-fledged into the writing, into the scripting, and all that was going on. And this director went and met another producer. I stopped seeing him. He called me two, three times also. When they started shooting, they were having all the Sevadal people from Hyderabad as the devotees in the crowd. And you know how our Sevadal people are. Uh, Everybody was giving one suggestion. No, 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 Swami never used to do this. You should do like this. And another guy comes and says, no, 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 Swami never used to walk like that. He used to walk like this. So everybody became a director. As it is, they're not film crew, right? They're all
Yeah.
devotees. They're all Sevadal people. So they don't care a damn to anybody who, whatever big director you are. Everybody started directing it. Then Mr. Kodi Ramakrishna immediately called me and said, Vinay Garu, we are facing a big problem. You should come and all that. I said, I'm little busy with the school. That was a little lie, but of course, but but I called the other co-director and I told him the truth. Look, I have been directed by Baba to stop. That's why I stopped. I can't tell the director on the face because he might feel hurt that Baba asked me not to go to him. It'll hurt anybody, right?
Here, of course.
So don't tell him this, but please understand, I can't come there. This is the flight. This is the truth. So what? And incidentally, the shooting was going on in Ramanaidu Studios. They
Oh,
directed a big set of Prashant and Liam. And I used to go there frequently to meet my professor, show him the script. He used to do the script doctoring, give suggestions to make changes and all that. So one day I got caught. I was trying to avoid these people and stealthily
oh,
go into the film school to meet my professor. These guys caught me. Where have you been all these days? Why are you not coming? They pulled me to the director.
okay.
Why are you not coming? I remember the next day was Shivratri. It was 2017,
Yeah.
March. So, so after Shivratri, next day we're going to, you should come, he said. I couldn't say no, nor can I say yes. I was just mum. And trust me, that day, the shooting, from that day onwards, the shooting never took place after that.
Really? Oh,
Because the producers who took up the production and the previous producers had a tiff. So one of
oh,
them filed a case in the court and the production got stalled for months together. So, I mean, these are all, and I can't state this publicly, but later on, I also came to know why Swami installed this. I mean, asked me not to go there. Uh, I can't share this publicly because
Of
it might
course.
affect some devotees there back there in US also, if I still the reason. I hope you can understand.
I totally understand. No worries.
Mm. So then I went along writing the script and all. Another important thing that happened was my professor was suggesting that, sorry, the script does not have enough conflict in it. So if there's no Ravana, there's no Ramayana, right? And when you have a Ravana, he has to abuse Rama. So you have to write some dialogues with Ravana abusing Rama and all that. So this was a very difficult part for me. And so I had to do a little more research and, you know, I came across this, this documentary made by BBC, the Karanjia's interview with Swami, and in the British Parliament, they passed a resolution that people should not. So I had to do all this, and my mind was going on. A big turmoil was going on in my mind, and I also started getting some funny thoughts, like because I'm going the rational way. First
Yeah.
time in First time in my life, I'm questioning Swami. A question like, I can share it. Like, this God sits on a throne and everybody had to sit on the floor. He has a fan for him, special fan beside his throne. But what about us? He's a God, right? He can do without a fan. Why are we having a fan? But again, Swami has answered all this question. We have fans today in the Kulwant Hall.
Yeah.
But in 2017, I was getting these questions in my mind. And I went bonkers. I used to again sit in front of Swami and ask, Swami, I never got this question in my life, even when I sat in front of you as a student. Why am I getting these thoughts now? What is happening to me? And, but all the dialogues in the movie were coming. Trust me, the villain's dialogues were coming. So one day I just broke down and we had a bhajan. All the alumni came and had a bhajan in the apartment here, in this office where I'm sitting right now. And that night, because when Swami was there, I used to write letters to him, send it by registered post. So now I have a diary exclusive for writing to Swami. So that night I wrote to Swami, closed the book, and stayed back here, slept. Morning, first thing I wake up, I saw six footprints of Swami coming from the photograph towards my bedroom.
Oh, wow.
I was zapped. Just really shocking because I sat there, I was all alone in the previous. It's not, I saw my own, I put my, first, I'm a rationalist. I put my own foot beside that footprint and it was much smaller than mine, very delicate feet. Oh, this is certainly not my feet. And everybody, after the bhajan, the domestic help and all, they cleaned the whole house and went. And nothing was there last night. So, and it was all white as if made by Vibhuti.
Oh
So
my.
it took at least 2-3 minutes for it to dawn upon me, and just like wow. So you are telling me that I'm on the right track, and I should not worry about writing this or because forget Swami. I mean, tomorrow it should not even affect the sensibilities of some devotees, right?
Yeah.
What because I've heard some devotees telling Mr. Kodi Ramakrishna that you should not show Swami in the hospital. You should not show that scene at all. I said, the whole world know. I mean, the director said the whole world knows about it. Swami was in a hospital. What is the point in hiding that? No, it will affect devotees' sensibilities. So I was very bothered about affecting devotees' sensibilities and all that. But Swami gave that clue and gave that sign that like I'm with you, go ahead. That
Yeah.
was a message that I clearly got. And I don't know again when I can, if I can say this, but I mean, there's nothing to hide again. One day I met Mr. Ratnakar because I used to frequently take the script and put it in Swami's Sannidhi, and he knows, is aware of it. And
Yeah.
so one day he said, Vinayak, when this movie on Swami is made, it should be like, you know, a very world, it should be like a world leader, not just like, it should be acceptable to all sections of the society, not just for the devotees. A film
Right.
like Gandhi, this was the word he had used. A
Yeah.
film like Gandhi, a towering personality, he had done many social projects in love also. That should be the kind of projection. And he also said it should, mind you, he said this because I never said this to him. It
Mhm.
should be like a film which will remain in the archives of the Motion Pictures Academy at Hollywood. I mean, that's what the Oscars, which I.
Wow.
So I said I was zapped. I said, "Wow, uh, I think this is Swami, making you say this to me because all this while I was also worried about how devotees would take it, or they expect only miracles and miracles and miracles and miracles, or they expect the journey of Swami and how people try to sling mud on him and all this. So, so that part also got clarified little just 2 3 years back. Like.
Wow.
So this was the journey, and right now, looking for producers, waiting for somebody to come. Again, it brings a testing period. Everybody says, "Oh, you got a lovely story, but we are making a biopic. What if somebody of Sai Baba's relatives are going to come and file a case after this movie?" Nowadays people are doing it. Just last Friday, there was a movie, Dhurandhar. It's about a army officer.
Hmm.
Just the day before the release, this that army officer, I think is Major Sharma, his brother files a case in the court saying that you can't release that movie. People do it. So producers, the industry is very scared to make biopics these days.
I
So
see.
again, Swami has to break the jinx, and I always, every day, once in a while, I think that okay, maybe you're pushing me to the limits where when I had to get admission in your college, I almost gave up and I turned a rebel also. I said, this is not going to happen. Forget it. So I keep asking, are you pushing me to those limits? When are you going to make it? Or when is this going to happen? I don't know. So just leave it to him. Like I said, that just the other day I saw this quotation. The engine always waits for more movies and suddenly it'll start moving when you don't expect it.
It's very true.
So this is about from international school to the film about Swami's film. Yeah.
Yeah, that was wonderful. Like, you covered so much. And,
Mm.
I got to say, I also pray that, one day the film of yours becomes a reality for the world and that, it's stored in the archives
Who
in Hollywood.
knows? I mean, integrity is very important. So I'm also stating that I'm stating this here in your podcast. We don't know somebody in US or somebody in India or wherever in the world might actually see this and yeah,
Yeah, you never know.
Swami's well, yeah, right.
Exactly. You're absolutely
Yeah.
right.
Mhm.
And then, yeah, I'll move on to the last question before the rapid fire. So this is kind of
Okay,
more in regards to advice to the society. So in today's
okay.
world where negativity and turmoil can easily distract young minds, what
Mhm.
advice would you offer to the future generation to help them walk a righteous and meaningful path?
Okay, interesting. Because I've dealt with almost two generations of kids in Abhyasa. I dealt with Gen Y and Gen Z. Right now, I'm dealing with Gen A also. Yeah, I can
Yep.
say three generations.
Wow.
What I observed is I always believe in what you've heard of Khalil Gibran, right? The poet.
I
Khalil
don't think so.
Gibran. Oh, he's a Sufi, not exactly a Sufi, but he was a seer uh, who lived in the Middle East,
Hmm.
and he was lived in the 17th century. And there's a book called The Prophet. It's a
Oh,
poem. It's a collection of poems by the Prophet. I'm a big fan of Khalil Gibran, and in that he says uh, there is a devotee asking him questions, and one of the questions is, "Tell us about children and tell us about parenting." So he very beautifully says, now this is not Hindu or Muslim or anything. This is the ultimate truth. He says, your children are not your children. Is telling the parents, your children are not your children. They are sons and daughters of tomorrow, born in this world through you, but not from you. Don't try to give them your thoughts because they live in the house of tomorrow, and seek not to make them like you, but try to be like them if possible, because they are the arrows that move forth to the future, whereas you are the bow. Like imagine Lord Ram holding a bow, and so the parent is like a bow in the hands of God, and the child is like an arrow which is set forth into the future. So the archer, that is the god, loves the bow as much as he loves the arrow sent forth. This is how the poem goes. I not use the exact word, but this is how it goes. So I find that with technology, with societal changes and all that, a lot of emotional as well as aspirational changes are happening in society. And I also read a book called Conversations with God by Neil Donald Walsh. I'm using those names because I'm going to quote from those books,
sure.
wherein uh, he says, even Swami has also said this, where people were afraid there's a world war might come. And Swami said, as long as not only as long as the avatar is here, that the world war will not come. But he talked about Earth or humanity is always evolving. It's not, why do you think the avatar has come in a Kali Yuga and all that? So humanity always evolves, it doesn't degrade.
Yeah.
So this book also, with God, talks about exactly what Swami used to talk about. And Swami also said there's going to be a golden age very soon. He said it in 2009, in 18 years, there's going to be a golden age. That is pointing to 2027.
Yeah.
So the point I'm trying to make is when there is an evolution, a lot of people complain that the world is going back to worse. Children are children don't want to marry these days. They're getting into living in relationships. But there is a flip side of it. There's a detachment that is going on, growing in the society. So uh, I might sound again blasphemous. Uh, oh, you're talking again because I'm single myself. So people will think I'm there against the institution because I'm single by choice.
Of course.
Of course,
Yes.
not that I don't respect the institution of marriage, but I felt that, the other day, even Dr. Garikapati Narasimha Rao, in one of his
Yes.
discourses, he was saying, like, you won't get married to anybody unless you owe something to somebody. I mean, unless they owe something to you, sorry.
Hmm.
And you won't beget children unless you owe something to them.
I see.
So, in terms of karma, the cycle of Hindu philosophy, children are something like we owe something to them, and That's why we bring them up and blah, blah, blah. So we also know how children are these days. They're
Yep.
not going to accept what you say. But the only thing that I would like to tell, or I keep telling my students, is that make conscious choices, make informed choices. And I tell them, I will keep telling you what I have to tell. I will keep guiding you because I have traveled a path. I know what all is there in the pathway. So I'll tell you what I've seen in the pathway. It may happen to you by the time you walk the pathway. Let's say today there's a beautiful tree, a big banyan tree at fifth mile from Hyderabad. And I described the beautiful banyan tree and the pathway 5 miles away from Hyderabad. But by the time you walk that path, the tree would have been demolished and there might be a skyscraper there. And you might think, okay, what did the sir say? So that's how times are changing, the world is changing. But I will tell you what I have seen. I will tell you about the eternal values of what Swami says Sathya, Dharma, Shanti, Prema, Ahimsa. These will not change. Technology may change, society may change, but Ahimsa won't change. Love won't change.
Very true.
Dharma, yeah.
So they're essentially
Dharma,
all.
yeah, yeah. So make informed choices, make choice with awareness, and be ready to face the consequence. If you're making a bad choice, be ready to face the consequences. And I tell only one thing to the parent: stop spoiling your kids. That's one thing I'm seeing predominantly. It's not about advising kids. First of all, parents should stop spoiling kids. Today, parents are shit scared about kids,
I
which is very, very wrong. So you're not a you're not married yet, or you're not a parent yet. So I'll say this to you very confidently. Parents, especially in the US, are even more scared because child rights and they'll call the police. And I've had so many parents, coming to Abhyasa from the US to join their kids. It was so palpable. They're shit scared of the kids.
know.
Of course, times have changed. Now you have to tell them sweetly. You can't say, hey, do this. Hey, don't do that. This is the old style of,
I
you
know.
know, bringing up kids. Now you just tell them very sweetly. But in fact, you have to whack them where like my brother who lives in Dallas. Uh, when his kids were growing up, he used to whack them. And the kids used to say that, I'll call the police. He used to get the phone and say, okay, call them right now. And they used to just shut up and keep quiet. So, but today they're grown up, they're past college and they're settled in their professions. They're grown very well. So, when we grew up like that, I don't know if it's right or wrong. Too many laws leads to loss of love.
That's true.
Like today, we have so many. Uh, Sorry, again, I'm going off track.
Yeah, no worries, no worries.
So many laws on marriage, and at least in India, the laws are so favorable to women that
Yeah.
I see a lot of youngsters. These are not my words, because these are young. A lot of youngsters, boys saying that there's no point in getting married. Probably that's the reason why they're preferring live-in relationships. So
True.
once upon a time, men were very aggressive and violent, so laws were made. But today, when it's skewed another side, there are people who are misusing. Not everybody, maybe very small, minuscule. But
I know.
this is a
Yeah,
fear that remains in people.
of course.
Again, recently, somebody that Hardik Pandya, his wife divorced him, the cricket player,
Yes.
and he had to, shell out half his property.
No.
Then people, my children said this, hey, what? I can't use, cuss language, but what the hell is this? The kids use this language. You don't want
Yeah.
to get married like that. So I'm cool about all this thing. I don't want to tell, okay, you should get married, you should do this, you should. But I can say from my own example, I stayed back in Hyderabad. I take care of my parents even today. Uh, and me and my brother, we always ensure that one of us is at home to take care of them.
That's good.
So these values, like take care of your parents, don't do anything that is, adharmic, because life catches up with you and, it pays you back with the same coin. So, except for these things, we cannot give them a regimen and say, give them 10 commandments and say, thou shall not do this, thou shall not look at, you know, things like
Yeah,
that. So, only two things I would say: be aware, make conscious choices, be aware of the consequences. I will tell mostly the parents, stop spoiling your kids. This is the only big message I would give.
that's wonderful.
It's happening in India too, I know that.
I think it's a global problem at this point.
Yeah. Kids are blackmailing their, if somebody's putting their kids in the residential school, I run a hostel,
Yeah.
I'll go jump up from the terrace. You'll find my dead body. Take me away from the hostel. Of course, they live in the hostel for 1 month, then they don't want to go back home also. That's a different story. But the day they come, they're threatening their parents, and most parents are getting scared. So they're afraid to put students in a residential school also.
Yeah.
I'll tell you an example, it's
Mhm.
appropriate or not. When I
Yeah.
started the school in 96, there was somebody who came from Maharashtra, from Rajputs,
Yeah.
That guy also didn't want to stay in the school. One day when the parent came to see the child, he was going back. This guy, he he sort of held the back bonnet of the car, and the father dragged him till the gate of the school.
Oh God.
He said, nothing doing, you're going to stay here. That boy stayed on for 10 years, and he became the school captain, and today is well settled in life. So parenting that time was different. Parenting now is different. Now the
I
parents get shit scared.
I know.
If
It's
then
almost like the
the
tables
child,
had turned.
yeah, same school, same place, same area, but parenting has changed. But if we succumb to this kind of a blackmailing, or I don't know, I'm not saying they'll go bad, because when you say don't touch the fire, you're going to burn your hands and then learn it. So one day or the other, they're going to learn it. I'm
Yeah, of
going by
course.
what Khalil Gibran is saying. Yeah. So no sermons, because children are going to follow what we do rather than what we say. So be an ideal example. Stop succumbing to blackmails. Put your foot down. Be assertive. Be the right role model to them. That's it. You don't have to tell them anything what to do.
That makes sense. That's very
Yeah.
valuable.
Yeah.
So now we'll move on to the rapid fire round. So I'll be asking you a
So
few questions.
as we say,
So
one word or
it's up to you. You can say whatever you
oh,
want. I'll be very flexible with that.
okay. Yeah.
So, what is the most important human value that every person should develop?
Yeah, I just told about it. Integrity.
Makes sense.
If your
And
thought, word, and action is in integrity, I mean, is in integration, you don't have to be your God. So, see, one of the important, sorry, I'm going a little.
yeah, no
Swami
worries.
said, Swami said, see, you're putting me on a pedestal and making me God. But all that while he was saying, Divyatma Swarupullara, Divyatma Swarupullara, your God, your God, your God. When the Sathya Sai Central Trust was formed, you know what the preamble said? This organization is formed to make man realize that he is God. That is the sole aim of Swami, not water projects, not hospitals, and not Gram Seva. That is a means to emancipation. But the sole goal is man should realize his God. If man
Exactly.
realizes his God, automatically the love and the service automatically comes. That is secondary.
That's
So
true.
integrity means it's like godliness. Whatever you say is going to come true. You can have whatever you have in life. And these are the words of Swami.
Gotcha. Wow, that's wonderful. And
Yeah.
the next question is who is your biggest inspiration?
Swami, of course. Because again, you can't bring him down to a human level, but at a human level, the way he strived, so many people giving interviews. I mean, he must have given interviews to millions of people, touched at a physical level, millions of lives. When we had 60th birthday, 70th birthday, he looked into every minute detail. Wow. I mean, with all of us having the same 24 hours, I think that is something very, very amazing that one can look as a role model, look up as a role model.
That's
Yeah.
very true.
Hmm.
Cool. And then what is one daily habit or practice that everyone should incorporate into their life?
I would say, because say the same thing to my students, is introspection. I don't say charity, I don't say love, I don't say speaking truth also, because if you sit and spend a quiet moment, especially in these days, even if you're alone, you have the media buzzing in your ears and in your all around you. You're so immersed in the World Wide Web. But shut off everything and sit by yourself. Maybe not even in front of Swami or front of a God's photo, or sit by yourself and introspect. What have I done today? How is it helping me go towards my goals? Have I done anything wrong? Have I hurt anybody? So this is the best teacher, because every Swami says your conscience is God. Swami used to say this. Your conscience is God. You don't need any other God. So introspection means you're talking to your conscience.
Exactly.
And invariably, I don't know, I used to do it even before I joined Swami's college. I used to sit on my house terrace all alone, looking at the stars. I used to talk to myself. I mean, I used to put the question, the answer, I'll start talking to myself as though I'm giving the answer to myself. So it's then years later, Swami told me it's your conscience that is speaking to you. That's the God inside you who's speaking to you.
True.
So we don't have to look anywhere else. Introspection is the best habit to practice. Of course, those who do meditation is again a higher level of introspection.
Wonderful. And then the final question is what is your favorite vacation destination?
I easily get bored if there's one destination which I have to visit again and again. So I like variety, and so I love being in the forest. I love being by the seaside. I love being on the mountains. So I'm every 1 or 2 months I go for a vacation. Every 1 or 2 months, by the way. And I've only been to US, Europe, and Singapore. I have so much to explain in the world because I have food problems. I know I need South Indian food. One day I was walking in Oxford Street in the UK, I mean London, and I was telling my friend, my host, I want to eat only in South Indian food. And she was telling me, this was in 2007, I remember. There's no Indian restaurant. There are Pakistani, Punjabi restaurants everywhere, but you
Yeah.
can't get a South Indian restaurant in Oxford Street. And
Oh,
you won't
wow.
believe it. I just peeped into a lane by lane and I found one there, a Malayali hotel.
Oh, wow.
Okay, why I'm mentioning that is, so I've not really ventured out into the world. I know my younger brother has traveled 80% of the world, including Arctica and I mean, including Antarctica and the my younger brother does that, but I have so much to see in India itself. I have not covered Bihar, I have not covered Orissa, not covered the Northeast, but rest of India I've covered.
That's
So if
nice.
you say my favorite but just to answer your question, maybe this will be useful for people who are listening to this. From northern Maharashtra, where the Western Ghats are there, northern Maharashtra to Gujarat to Rajasthan to Himachal Pradesh and Jammu Kashmir. This 2000 miles, if you cover, you would have covered everything everywhere. You've seen a sea coast, you have seen mountains, you have seen tropical forests, you have seen equatorial forests, you have seen a desert, you have seen palaces, you have seen forts, you have seen mountains, you have seen snow-capped mountains. You would have covered every type of landscape on the earth, this
Wow.
stretch. So that's my favorite. I though I didn't repeat going to these places, but some of my there are forests, there are game sanctuaries, there are wildlife resorts in this place, in this belt, I would say. It covers every sort of experience on earth.
Wow, that's wonderful. That's a very, good answer. So
Yeah,
there's still
yeah,
so much to explore in the world, but essentially that, just within the country you live in, there's so many wonderful
yeah,
places yet to see.
yeah, yeah.
Wonderful. So, yeah. And then, with that, I would like to thank you, Mr. Vinayaka, for being the ninth guest speaker for Side Talks. And, really
Right.
this interview was so inspirational. And so, you covered all areas and on all topics. So we're all really thankful for having you with us today.
Yeah. Thank you, Karthik, for this wonderful opportunity.
Good.